Colby Covington calling someone out is not news. But what is news is when that man is Khamzat Chimaev, one of the most feared men on the UFC roster at the moment. Now, when I first heard him call him out, I was initially thinking, what are you smoking? Did you not watch his last performance? Have you not been watching him in general? And then I actually thought, I think this is quite a smart move from Colby. Now, before I jump into it, you know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, and little bell icon. And if you don't know what I do here on Casuals Corner, I bring you behind the scenes footage, interviews with fighters, and fight breakdowns just like this. So let's jump back into it. Colby Covington. Now, why is this a smart move for Colby? Because if you're anything like me, the first time you heard him say this, you were thinking, you're either lying to yourself or you're just plain stupid. Which one is it? But when you have a think about it logistically, it actually makes quite a lot of sense for Colby. First of all, this man has only had 4 fights in the UFC and he still hasn't absorbed the strike, which is an outrageous figure in itself. So whilst you let that sink in, also think he hasn't had a ton of cage experience. Now, of course, I mean, you can't do a lot better than he has, and it's not a bad thing he's gone and done that. But you would rather have a Khamzat Chimaev who's had 4 fights in the UFC than a Khamzat Chimaev who potentially has 9 fights in the UFC. So if Colby jumps in there early and gets him now, yes, it's still going to be a very difficult matchup. Yes, there's going to be a part of Colby Covington that thinks this man is as real as he gets. This man is a savage, but I would rather have a go at him now than in 2 years' time, because you have to remember, he's still fresh, he's still new to MMA. So the longer he's in the UFC, the more experience he gets, the higher class of athletes he's working with day in, day out consistently and competing against, his skill level is just going to keep going. And if he's anything to go by of what we've seen already, his ceiling is as high as you could possibly make it. So I think Colby has to jump in there early with this one. I think he's going to appreciate he's good, but he'd rather get him now than in 2025. Also, I don't think Colby's going to go in there and necessarily think he's going to lose anyway. He's still going to have a large piece of him that thinks, I can go and beat this man. I personally don't think he can, but that's a different question. I'm not Colby Covington. So not only will he think that he'll have a chance of beating him, he'll also know that he's never been taken into those dark waters of an MMA fight, ever. Not in the UFC, ever. And Colby Covington is a pretty good bet and a pretty sure bet. If anyone's going to do that in the welterweight division in the world, it's going to be him. So he also has that on his side. And even if he can close in a close decision like he has done with Kamaru Usman, or even a close win, if he were to get that loss, if Khamzat were to go on and beat Kamaru Usman, which I personally think he does, that's a topic of conversation for another time, Colby then has the opportunity to work back up to get that rematch, and then he has a rematch at the title fight. So it's also future-proofing the welterweight division for himself as well, because Colby is in that upper echelon, and he will be around there until he sort of decides to retire, which I don't think is anytime soon. So I think it's actually a pretty smart decision. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know, is Khamzat really as good as they say? Like I said, if you've watched any of my videos, you know what I think. But is Colby the man to break him? Because if anyone's going to do that, it's going to be Colby Chaos Covington. Anyway, you know what to do. Hit a like, subscribe, and little bell icon. Take care of yourselves. Peace.